Hello, welcome back to Squashwarp Missions. This is episode 11, and before we do an Asteroid Rendezvous, we're going to do another Minmus landing, which I'm going to probably skip through some of. But Burful hasn't gotten to go to the surface, so he's going to do what Bob did last time, in a different location. So let's switch to him. Okay, and deploy these before we forget. Alright, let's see where we're going. I don't think we can go wrong here. Let's just, since we've only explored one biome, let's just point retrograde and reduce our orbit and just go down. We've got so much fuel. I'm going to turn the music off now. Let's land there. It's probably the Highlands or something. Let's warp here. And we'll turn surface retrograde. Swinging over the poles. What do you think, Burful? You excited to land on Minmus? Are you nervous to land on Minmus? How close are we to our crash site? That's coming up. Is this it? I'm not actually sure. Possibly? Let's quick save. I can't tell from the map whether we're going to hit this Midland situation, but you know what? Let's just make sure we do. But like, you know, at a speed that is reasonable for us. No, I think we're going to go over it. Yep. Clearing the peak. And we're going to hit that opposite side. I'll skip ahead. Okay, we're getting very close now. Where's our shadow? There it is. Full thrust. Full power now, sir. Okay. And a gentle landing at under 2 meters per second. There we go. Quick save on the surface. All right, now I'm going to do all the science experiments, and that I'm going to skip through. See you in a second. Okay, surface operations are complete. There's Kerbin out there. Burful is not going to plant a flag. I don't really need a flag for every landing, and whoops. Okay. I don't need a flag for every landing, and I want to keep my save file a little bit clean. In fact, I've been thinking of going through and finding all of the trash out in space and making sure that we don't have too many pieces of trash floating around that are clogging up my save file. That's the radar altimeter. Where's the space station? Nowhere to be found. That's okay. All right, let's take off. We want to go south. And this was the Midlands. Let's burn up a little bit and make sure we clear this hillside there. Okay. All right. Dryad transfer vehicle. Set as target. I'm going to skip out the rendezvous too, because you've seen it already. Okay, here we are. Arriving. Let's find a docking port to target. About that one. And let's kill our approach speed until we've got ourselves situated. Oh, I've moved my mod things, because I've got a second monitor and I keep moving my mouse to the second monitor. Alright. Retract panels. Standard docking procedures. Get oriented. Get oriented. Reverse to get into the right position. Translate. Can't really make sense of the inside here, so we'll just do it from the outside. Okay, properly aligned, pretty much. And in we go. And then we have some science shuffling. Let's see what we can transmit of this stored data. Can't transmit that. So we'll process. Well, I gotta look at the lab situation. Hang on. There's that. Can I process 200 and something? Yes. Process 9. Whoop, no, that one we can send. 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 Cannot send that one. So let's see. 470. This is going to be more. Is it going to let me do this? I'm okay missing out on this. No, it's only storing 94 data, so I don't know what this... Oh, it's telling me what science. Oh, it says 38 data. I got to mouse over it. Okay, all right. 38 can fit. 75 can fit. Oh, but that one we can transmit. Transmit. 30 can fit. Okay, cool. All right, let's review this stored data. Let's transmit everything that will give us science. And then why is it saying no to that? I don't know. We'll just keep that. We'll just keep that. We'll process this. We'll keep that. What happens if I press this? Cannot analyze data as the lab is full of data. Okay, did I lose it or is it just, I don't know. Keep experiment. 19 will not fit. Keep. Right, is it still there? Material study, yeah. And same situation. Can't do the surface sample because it won't fit. Good. I've confused myself now. So, Burfle. Is there any data in here? No. take data from this? Yeah, take 6 experiments from this. Store them here. And take 8 experiments from this. Careful with the solar panels. And grab on here. Whoop. Forward. Grab. Board, and we'll put that in there. Let's level up our crew. Recorded Berfel Kerman's experience. So they're all level 2 now, because they've been to Minmus. How much science do we have sitting around? 144, so we'll transmit our science. And we will... That's it. Transmit our science. Yeah, all complete. Oh yeah, clean experiments. Why won't it? Why is it not letting me clean experiments? Huh. Usually there's a clean experiments option. Well, Valentin is the one person who can't do it. Bob, let's well, Berfel didn't finish. Transfer it in here. And EVA. Collect data, restore. And get this one. Collect data, restore. Store experiments. And not all items could be stored. That's okay. Some of these we've already gotten. Sometimes you get duplicates when you're just pressing buttons and you don't know what you're doing. Okay. Saved. The screen is saved, man. Okay. And now we can refill things. And we can even do a third mission, but we're going to refrain from doing that right now. We can land on Minmus next time. So let's see what's next. All right, well, we've got a asteroid coming in. Asteroid ADB 199. And it's going to pass by Kerbin on this angle. So we've got to launch our Sprite, what is it called? Our Sprite science craft. And we've got to do it on this inclination. So, if I get myself lined up like this, and I warp until the space center is underneath this line, that should give us a good chance of getting into the right inclination if we launch the correct direction. So I'm going to line this up, and then I'm going to launch the craft. Okay, here's our craft. We're going to pull up the rendezvous information from Flight Engineer. And we want to make sure that our relative inclination goes from 62 down to as close to 0 as possible. So we need to launch northeast. Yeah. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, launch. Let's try that. That's my first guess. Maybe a little bit more north. North, look at these beautiful clouds. I always got to remember to pan the camera around and get a look at the landscape. Alright, where is our relative inclination? It's going down. That's good. That's what we want. We also want to try to recover this stage if possible, but I don't know if we're going to have the time to apoaps to do that. Boy, we're not leaning over. I'm kind of managing too many things. Relative inclination is still going down. We want to be surface prograde, as messed up as it is. Well, we can go target. This way. Oh boy, I've kind of screwed up this launch. But anyway, let's just point orbit prograde. And hang on, why are we out of control? What's happening? Let's extend the solar panels before we run out of electric charge. Okay, and I want to point orbit prograde, please. What did I end up with in terms of relative inclination? 17 degrees? Let's actually, if we can get control of this craft, I want to point it normal. Ugh. It's just too heavy. Give me control. Yeah, just a little bit of thrust. Give me a bit of control. Okay. This is a wonky launch, but I think we have enough delta V to make it okay. Let's go up to this and use our first stage engines to try to fix this inclination. Okay, relative inclination is going down. 5 degrees. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0.05. Okay, that's good. Now let's point... I can't even tell which way I'm looking. Let's rotate so that the up is the same for me as it is for the spacecraft. And then let's turn so that we're on the horizon. Like that. All right, save. Let's make a circularization burn, because I didn't mean to go up so high. Let's just get our periaps out of the atmosphere. Periaps. I love precise node. It helps me with everything I need help with. Okay. Why are we drifting all over the place? Why are we doing this? Why are we wobbling all over the place? What is happening? It's like we've got some kind of phantom force going on. Did I accidentally trim? How do I go back to... There we go. Why is yaw pegged over to the right? There we go. All right. Let's add an alarm for our apoaps burn. We didn't need to do that. It's in 1 minute. Let's get pointed the right way. Yep. Delete on close. I'm just going to use the last of this fuel from this stage here. Okay, time accelerate to get us to stop moving. Okay, that's it. Detach. And give some slow thrust. Oh, no, don't Don't go sticky keys. I hate that. I gotta figure out how to turn that off. So this is our rendezvous craft. This is just a big fuel tank to help us get the rendezvous. I've never rendezvoused with an asteroid outside of like a sandbox test, so I'm excited but also nervous. I don't really know what I'm doing, and I accidentally did an inefficient launch, so we'll see how this goes. Also, we'll see whether we can recover the other stage, because it's going to be returning to Kerbin very fast. Alright. Can we switch to the other craft? No, it's too far away. Switch to that. Command hibernate in warp. So we don't have much electric charge to work with. Let's point surface retrograde, and we can turn off Kerbal Engineer now. I have so many mods, my god. Okay. What is going to happen? Are we going to incinerate as we fall down through the atmosphere extremely quickly? Or will the fact that this is 3 empty fuel tanks mean that we're light enough for our size that we will decelerate before we get incinerated by the atmosphere? Well, the engine's overheating. If we lose the engine, we're likely to lose everything else. There it goes. Alright, well that was the part we wanted to recover. So, unfortunately, we're not going to get much money back from the rest of this thing. And now that the engine's gone, we've slowed down very handily. Alright, well, now we're gonna fall normally, but I do need to open the drogue chutes. Try to turn us around. And we can open the other ones in a second. Yeah. Well, we sort of succeeded in recovering the stage, but we re-entered way too fast. I mean, I kind of predicted that. Let's time accelerate. We're still going in head first. There we go, there we go. It's going to take a second. I'll meet you on the ground. Alright, we're just missing these trees. See if the fins survive. There we go. Can you imagine some random Kerbal wanders over and it's like, what is this? Somebody built like a grain silo in the middle of the woods without anybody noticing. Alright, let's recover. We got 9,000 funds back. It's not nothing, but it's not what we wanted. That's okay. Let's go back to our spaceship. Incidentally, while we're here, we can take a look at all the space trash. There's only 9. We've only got 9 pieces of space trash floating around. This one, this one, this one, this one. Oh yeah, that was, I remember that. And then we've probably got some out here too. Yeah, we got one. We got the Pegasus stage is floating around. The Moho probe debris. So we got a decent amount of trash floating around, but 9 is not so bad. I thought it would be like 20. All right, Sprite Science Craft, fly. Oop, we loaded into the sunset. That's pretty. Okay. Let's plan our rendezvous. Ooh, what a beautiful shot. Okay, I've got a rendezvous planned, and I think I added the alarm. Yes. It's not a rendezvous yet. It's just a transfer into an orbit that intersects the orbit of the asteroid. It's coming in very slowly, so we're going to have to do a bunch of smaller orbits to wait for it to catch up on us. And as a reminder, I don't think we're going to be able to move the asteroid. Eventually, we want to capture asteroids and put them in orbit of Kerbin or the moon or something so that we can research them and mine them and all that kind of stuff. But this thing is listed as gargantuan. It will be the largest asteroid I've ever seen. And this probe is rather small, so I don't really expect to have the delta V or the thrust to move it. Doesn't mean we won't give it a try, but I don't think it's very likely. Okay, see that we've got an intersect, but by the time we get here, it won't barely have moved, because it's moving really slow out at the edge of Kerbin's sphere of influence. That's fine. Let's see what it's going to take to get a rendezvous. Okay, I've set up a maneuver that's going to put us in an orbit similar to that of the asteroid, but a little bit lower so that we will arrive back at near our apoapse when the asteroid is approaching us. It's still a 40-kilometer intercept distance, but I'm hoping that I can bring that down with a little bit of fine-tuning. Look how beautiful Kerbin is. My goodness. Make sure we get solar panels. Good. Now, I may have overbuilt this rocket, but I'd rather overbuild it than underbuild it. Just for a mission I've never flown before. Okay, we need to fine-tune. Let's thrust limit down. And we're waiting until this is really close. And I brought RCS on this for exactly this purpose. Ooh, 8.5, 4.3 kilometers. That is fantastic. That is a fantastic close approach. All right, save that. Let's add a maneuver at the descending node to get this even better. How long from now is that maneuver? It's in 11 days, so we're going to go do other things. But in 11 days, we'll have a maneuver to correct even closer and get an even closer close approach. So in the meantime, let's make sure our solar panels are pointed the right way. And they are good. Let's see what's next. What's next is our Mimic Moho lander. So this thing is going to have its closest approach to Moho before we arrive at the asteroid. So let's make sure that our orbit is what we want it to be. 11-kilometer closest approach. That might be a little low, but we will manage that as best we can. Let's save. And I think I already saved. And let's just warp here. We're going to get pulled out by an alarm, but that's fine. And let's see if I can find Moho. Last time it was that way. But who knows? It's just, let's play the looking for Moho game. Oh, that was the warning. Oh, okay, I see. I had a warning alarm. Now we warp here. And Moho is inward. It's sunward from us, so I don't think we're going to be able to see it very well. There it is. It's coming out of the black. Oh, that's spooky. Okay, SOI change coming up. The nav ball is going to flip, and we're going to be in Moho's sphere of influence. Okay, first thing on the docket. Perform all the science experiments. Let's see. Materials study. How many did we bring? No. We don't want... We want the magnetometer report. That's fine. We can transmit that. And we can do an atmospheric pressure scan. We can transmit that. And we can transmit a temperature scan. We want to reset the mystery... Well... Yeah, we want to reset the mystery goo. And we want to reset the material study because we want to do those on the surface if we hopefully land. Okay. Now we make a maneuver to get into orbit. Add maneuver at Perimoho. Perimo. We see how much delta V this takes. Now, I'm a little concerned. Pardon me. First of all, I'm concerned because it's saying that the burn time is beyond what I have. So that's concerning. I thought we had enough delta V to land, but apparently this isn't going to work at all. Let's finish making the maneuver and see if I can address that problem. It's going to be a 3,354 meter per second burn. This is almost out. Okay, so I don't think this is going to work. I thought I'd spec this well, but maybe we burnt too much on our transfer burn. We're at least going to get into orbit, but it looks like we're not going to be able to land. So let's adjust our maneuver node until it's possible for... Whoops, and the other way. Until it's actually possible for us. We're not even going to capture. Wow. What a shock. Guess I underbuilt it. We're not even going to capture into an orbit after all that. All right, Moho mission is a failure. Well, nothing for it, I guess. At least we can get... I guess we can get long-range mystery goo. Duct material study. Because we haven't done this. Transmit the 42 science back. Since we've already done close mystery goo on the other... or material study on the other craft. Alright, we'll transmit it. And see if we get anything from mystery goo. Get 1.3 science. Transmit that. Okay. I wonder what I did wrong, but it's fine. Orbit, retrograde, add alarm, and let's, at least we got a little bit more science. But I have an orbit Moho contract that we're now not succeeding in doing. So, oh well. Maneuver coming up. And eclipse. Total eclipse of Moho. Delete that. Are we in space low yet? No. I can't see anything. Okay, that's because I'm looking at the sun. In space high. We want to be in space low. To get our information. 3 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now we do have to watch our periapse height. Alright, in space near. Let's perform all the science experiments. I don't think any of these are going to be new, except maybe the magnetometer report. Keep, and we'll transmit it later. We are reducing our periapse. Well, that's a little scary. Let's, review the magnetometer data and transmit that. Just in case we, crash into the surface. Gosh, we're coming in fast. This is not time accelerated. We did not have the electric charge. Do we have no alternator? Oh well, we are dead in space. Because this engine has no alternator attached to it. But thankfully we just want to burn out all of our fuel anyway. And we still won't capture. We got a little closer to Moho. I don't think we saw any surface features. Now we have... There we go. Now we have electric charge. But yeah, we're not going to capture. Why is control locked? Oh, we don't have signal. Alright, we have electric charge, but we don't have signal. Because Kerbin's on the other side of Moho right now. So I needed significantly more delta V. I wonder where I made an error in my calculations. It was probably in the transfer burn taking up more, or the launch. I mean, we don't really need to do this maneuver, but we've done the burn. We've seen what it would have taken. Now, add a maneuver. Oh, we can't add a maneuver. I keep forgetting. Okay. Well, let's just warp until we get signal back. Any minute now. There we go. And let's check on... No, don't remove from symmetry. Oh, okay. Review data. You're gonna get 1.5 science from that. Review data. 148 science, though. Trace magnetic fields are magnified by this sensitive instrument and measured in real time as you orbit near the celestial body. It's almost like hearing the heartbeat of a planet, knowing if it's dead inside or if something is churning. That's cool. Let's see if we have the battery power to send this. Looks like we might. Thankfully, we're getting plenty of electric charge back. Good. No new science from that. No new science from that. Okay. Well, we never got to run our seismic report because we never got to land. Goodbye, Moho. We tried again. We'll see you next time. Alright, with all that science that we got from Minmus, I've actually unlocked advanced fuel systems and nuclear propulsion, or I've started researching them, I should say. Nuclear propulsion is going to give us the LVN Nerve atomic rocket motor, which has a vacuum-specific impulse of 800. Compare that with the Poodle, which is what we've been using for our upper stages, which has a vacuum ISP of 350. So that's more than double the efficiency. Now, it weighs more, I think. But that should make interplanetary probes a little more successful. Now, I do have to figure out how to cool the nerve nuclear thermal rocket here. Which means I may need to unlock more heat management systems, more radiators, but I can cross that bridge when I come to it. Hopefully we'll get more Minmus science soon, too. Anyway, I built another Moho lander, so we're going to warp to that, since we have a Moho window coming up that we're almost missing anyway. So we're going to try that again. While that's under construction, we have our maneuver coming up to correct the inclination with our Sprite Asteroid Rendezvous craft. So let's warp to that. No, go away. You can see it approaching. There it is. Close that alarm. Get arranged. It's going to be a very small burn. I might even try using RCS for this burn. Is it still a burn when you use the reaction control system? I don't know. I guess it's more of a heating. Does RCS burn anything? It's a monopropellant, so I don't know if it burns or if it just heats. Let's look at our closest approach. 3.5 kilometers. Okay, our ascending and descending nodes are 0. Our inclination is 0 degrees, so that's helpful. Now let's turn prograde and see if we can bring this intercept down at all. Um, 0.1 kilometers. That's it. Let's add a maneuver there, just so that we can set a timer and see how soon that is. 5 hours. Great. All right, delete that. Delete the maneuver. Warp here. And let's see if we can see the thing coming. Probably won't be able to see it until we're within a couple kilometers. Ooh, I'm spooked. We're going to see a gargantuan asteroid. Look how far away from Kerbin we are. All right, it's highlighting it for us, 75 kilometers. We actually want to be target retrograde. So I'm going to quick save. I'm going to roll us so that we get sunlight. And let's warp in. Closing fast. I think I can see it. Seven kilometers, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. There it is. Holy cow. All right, we're going to pass within 100 meters of it. Um, 30 meters per second, 22, 15. All right. Now what we want to do is actually get on the prograde side of it. First of all, does doing science near it do anything? I think it's just going to give us No, that's just in space high over Kerbin. Okay. Doing science doesn't do anything. Let's get a sense of scale. It's pretty large. Alright, it's not as big as I was afraid it was going to be, though, so that's good. Alright, let's switch into orbit for a second. Let's turn orbit retrograde. And let's bring up the docking port alignment indicator. Can we use that? I don't think we can. Let's arm the grabbing unit. So we got a grabbing unit on the front. Alright, docking port alignment indicator doesn't do anything. So, RCS. Hang on, let me get this pointed the right way. Locked. Okay. There we go, we want to translate side along. I have to try to capture the thing. Even though I think it's not going to happen, I have to try. So we're translating until our... let's back up a bit. We're translating until the target marker is on our retrograde direction. And then we'll try to grab it. Can't see what I'm doing. I didn't expect this whole tank to arrive, so... Alright. We've passed it. Let's check our monopropellant situation. Okay, we're doing fine. Alright, what if we switch into surface target? Let's switch into target. Let's close at 1 meter per second. Alright, here we go. Docked! We grabbed onto an asteroid. We have 3 meters per second of delta V now. Is that enough? I don't think that's going to be enough to capture. Let's see. Add a maneuver. Minus... And minus was the mute button for my microphone. So now I've tracked that down. I need to change that because that's how I muted myself last time too, I bet. Anyway, I proceed to burn every ounce of fuel that we have, every kilogram of fuel, including the monopropellant, in a vain effort to try to move this asteroid, but as predicted, it's just too big. Like, it's massive, and we have a tiny little spacecraft. But it was fun to go to an asteroid for once. Anyway, back to old me. Alright, I'm always a little behind on all of my alarms. Like, everything sneaks up on me. We've got a Joule transfer coming up. We got a Moho transfer that we've missed. So I'm a little behind, but we are going to run out of life support at the Minmus space station soon. So we need to do one more landing and return to get some extra science. Bob can do it again. And then we're all going to go home. We're going to take a break from getting science done. And we're going to return to Kerbin so that we can swap out the crew. Come on, give me the... There we go. Bob, transfer in here. Undock. I'm going to do this real fast. Okay. And let's aim for the poles, shall we? Let's bring our periaps down to about 8. Let's see if we're going to crash into the poles there. Well, we can go a little lower. All right. I just assume that there's going to be a new biome if we get close to the poles. Poles. We are now over the poles. So let's just kill our orbital velocity here. Orbit. Orbit. Just to make sure we don't end up in the lowlands by accident. Okay. Let's turn over. There we go. And come in for a landing. Mm, 900 meters above the surface. Terrain scatter is loading in. The camera's going to be doing wonky things. Let's extend the solar panels. I forgot to do that. Good. Going to be on a bit of a slant, but that's okay. Where's my shadow? The sun's over there. Our shadow is going to be quite long, so there it is. There we go. Here we go, on the poles. Good job, Bob. This is what he sees out his window. Beautiful. He can see Kerbin. Alright, I'm going to do science. I'll be back. Okay, science acquired. Bob has been to the poles. We're not going to leave a flag, but we are going to admire the scenery up here. And then we're going to return to orbit, but I actually don't know which way to go. So let's set that as target, and let's just head in that direction. All right. Add a maneuver at Apo. All right, I'm going to do rendezvous. See you shortly. All right, coming in for a docking. Set as target. Wrong way, wrong way. I was targeting the wrong thing. I was targeting the center of the spacecraft. There we go. Kinda messed up, but it's fine. Alright, and we're here. We're gonna do some science transfer and I'll be back with you. Okay, all the science is transferred. let's transfer, let's send 381 science back, since they've been hard at work researching. These level 2 scientists have been hard at work researching lots of things here out at Minmus. So this is where we really get our science from, is by going to the surface, bringing multiple copies back, and getting them to research it in space. Can I stop transmitting science? It's not going to work. We're going to run out of electric charge. Boarding transmission. Okay, let's get a full electric charge and we'll try again. Okay, transmit science. Still don't have enough electric charge. Okay, let's see if we're having a solar panel issue. Let's try to rotate. So control from here. Nope. This way. Okay. Let's try one more time, and then we're going to have to... I think we're going to have to either require... Well, now we're in the shade, so let's get on to the sunny side. We're out of electric charge. That's not good. We need that for life support. Okay, here we go. So if we don't have enough electric charge to transmit the science back, we're going to have to send a probe out here with more batteries or something. Or we can change it to not require complete. So let's see. There's just so much science all of a sudden that we don't have the charge to do it. Shoot. Well... Standby. Well... we can either get the full value of science later, or we can get a slightly reduced transmission rate by allowing partial. May compromise data integrity. So we might lose some science here. But I feel kind of cheaty going and getting so many copies of the science anyway. The only question is, do we have any other transmitters that are going to... Yeah, so we gotta do the same thing with this. Allow partial. Okay, let's fill up on electric charge again. All right. Transmit science. All right, we got 644 total now, so however much we lost, I think it's worth it. Okay, save that. Now we got to go home. Oh, well, I can... No, it's fine. This is great. This is fine as is. All right, we got to go home, everybody. So, we got to stop our research. Oh, clean experiments, sure. Stop our research. Level up the crew if we didn't already. That's good, and then we just need to transfer the Kerbals. Transfer Bob into here. Transfer Burful into here. And transfer Valentina into the control room. Alright, so now, and I did install the internal thing. It's not completely finished, I don't think, but I did install the mod internals, so we can see inside. Looks pretty comfy. And here she is inside this part. Is that correct? See. No crew. Oh yeah, that didn't work. Let's, where's Valentina? She ended up in the lab. That was an accident. Okay, now she's there. So now we can view... Yeah, this is the control room. It doesn't have any controls in it. I feel like that maybe the mod isn't done. Okay. So, but I love that there's internals at all. That's amazing. Okay. Save that. This is full of monopropellant. This is as full of fuel as it can be. I don't know what governor means. Let's finish replenishing our electric charge. Good. And now let's take a look at our return prospects. So ideally we would wait for a time when our orbit is in a better inclination, but honestly I don't think that it matters very much at Minmus. Let's undock. Okay. Rename. Command. Rename vessel. This is Dryad Lab. And it's a station. Accept. And meanwhile, Dryad transfer vehicle is going to depart. And let's set up a maneuver. Which way are we going? Going that way. So let's set up a maneuver here. And burn, let's see, that way as well. Give me a second, I'll be right back with you. Alright, I fiddled with things. I thought I was going to go to the moon and do a moon flyby for experience purposes, but I changed my mind and I'm cutting out all that fiddling. Because we need to get home. But we need to do it. We need to do it at a relatively low inclination, though. More maneuver fiddling coming in. Okay, after much fiddling. Wait, I have 2 alarms now. Oh, Kerbin Jewel. All right, we're missing our Kerbin Jewel intercept. But I was trying to add the maneuver. In 3 days, we have a maneuver. What's happening before then? Automation is completing. That's fine. Let's go to our maneuver, everybody. Valentina is laughing. Okay, fast forwarded to my maneuver. We're going to correct our inclination. And then we're going to bring our periaps down to low Kerbin orbit. And this is what we need all the Delta V for, is being able to capture around Kerbin on just our engines. All right, our capture burns in 2 days. let's make sure we have solar power, and then we'll try to launch another Moho lander, and we'll see in a future episode whether it's successful. But let's skip to that. It's a foggy, cloudy day over here, but we're gonna launch to Moho anyway. So let's go. 3, 2. Well, let me check my staging. All those, all these, that, these, then those, then those, then that, I think. I hope that's right. Let's make sure. It's worth making sure. Yeah, that one. Then that. Then in there. That's probably right. Okay. Let's assume it's right. 3, 2, 1. Now this is my first asparagus staged rocket, and you'll see what I mean by that in a second. But that's what it's called for some reason when your boosters are arranged thusly. So we drop those two, but we keep these two. Gives us a little extra delta V, and we have different engines on the different stages. Those first two gave us a bunch of thrust. These two give us moderate thrust, but lots of efficiency. Look at all that fog bank up there. And we are gravity turning rather fast because we don't have much thrust here. Next set of boosters. And this is as much... I gave this as much delta V as I could without a complete redesign. And we're going to see if we can recover the first stage or not. This is the Paladin booster that I've been using on my launches, and I've been trying to recover it, but we've only recovered it once successfully. Yeah, there's a big fog bank covering the whole continent of the Space Center. That's cool. Let's try to increase our time to apoapse. And we're going to launch to 100 kilometers. Stage separation. Okay. I'm going to time accelerate this. Our apoapse is out of the atmosphere. We want it to go up to 100 kilometers, though. And it's 90. There goes our fairings. Alright, 100 kilometers. Let's quick save and see if we have enough time to save the other stage, or if saving the other stage causes us to fail to get into orbit. Because I don't know how long it'll take. Let's point surface retrograde. And warp. I don't want to be watching this while we're supposed to be getting into orbit with the actual spacecraft. Depends on how long this takes. like we're gonna land on land this time. Drogue shoots. Main shoots. Okay, there we go. My staging was a little messed up. We're gonna land on a hill. Let's see what happens. Okay, parachutes, stay engaged. Don't go away on me yet. Let us down gently. Yes. Okay. Recover. Normal recovery. 20,000 funds recovered. Gosh, it's foggy. Look at that. We gotta quickly switch back to our craft. It's just approaching Apoap's now. That was a very close. So it takes that much time, however much time that was, 3 minutes something seconds. Takes that much time to recover that stage. I think we're gonna be okay. Alright, orbit prograde. And oh, we were even further. Oh, I thought we were this, but we were actually even further away from our Apoap, so we're still in space, but that was dangerous. Okay, 70. Let's warp to Apo and raise our periaps to make this transfer easier. I'm going to perform this maneuver, then I'm going to get a Moho transfer, and I'll be back. Okay, I set up a Moho rendezvous, and we're going to do the transfer burn. It's going to be 1572 meters per second, and we still have 3400 on this stage here, and I added another stage here. So if this doesn't have the delta V to land on Moho, then my math is just wrong. I don't know what's wrong with my math, but we'll find out what's happening in, you know, however many days it takes to get there. Thankfully, Moho is pretty fast, and the amount of time it takes us to build a bunch of rockets, Moho arrives, you know? I need to clean up the orbit around Kerbin. There's so many little craft there. I'm getting confused which one I'm looking at. Four, 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright, I might speed that up if I remember to, since not much was happening. Okay. Set Moho as target. Let's see whether we need to burn more or less. All right, let's delete. I think it's more. There we go. Closest approach. Can I look at the sun? Focus on set Moho as target. Look at the sun. Oh, our closest approach is actually going down. Well, that's okay. Where's our orbit? What's happening? We can add a maneuver at the descending node. Okay, I made a maneuver for halfway out. It's a pretty sizable correction, but I think we have the delta V for it, he says. So let's set that Mimic Moho Lander 2 alarm in 93 days. And, oops, and let's do a Sphere of Influence alarm for Kerbin. The Dryad transfer vehicle has a maneuver coming up, so let's switch to that. All right, back at this spacecraft, we have a maneuver coming up in 1 day. So we're pointed the right way, and let's go. We're back at Kerbin. Lead on close. And we're capturing into a Kerbin orbit that will rendezvous us with the other space station. We'll see how my computer handles both space stations in the same place at the same time. But I think that's where we want to be to transfer crew. Okay, how'd we do? 27 kilometers. 9 kilometers. Good. We add a maneuver here to fix that. I'll be back. All right, I'm not getting a great encounter, but I'll just keep creeping up on it. 1 orbit. The Moho lander is transferring through the sphere of influence. It's just an old habit of mine to make sure that everything goes through sphere of influences without bugs. So 91 days to our maneuver. Is that correct? Well, yeah, I can look at it right there. 91 days. So everything looks fine. Let's go back to what we were doing. And going to our ascending node to try to correct for the inclination difference. Okay, corrected. Let's point prograde. See if we can bring down this intercept. Sure enough, we can. There we go. Target retrograde, warp here. All right, the what is this called? The Dryad transfer vehicle space station is going to arrive at the Manticore space station. We don't need the radiator. Let's draw that in. And let's roll so that up is where I expect it to be. Actually, let's roll this way and change the camera view so we can have a nice pretty over the planet docking. And I think, whoop, Z. Oh my goodness. That was coming way faster than I realized. And we missed our intercepts. But that's okay. We're going to keep burning target retrograde until we're closer. I forgot that we were coming in from such an extreme orbit. Alright, let's look on the map. Whew! Let's turn orbit retrograde. And we'll get an intercept on the next pass. As long as we don't accidentally re-enter the atmosphere. There we go. Okay. I forgot we were screaming in from a high orbit. That was dangerous. Let's warp here and try that again. I'm lucky that our intercept wasn't too close. Bit of drama there. And we're back within loading distance. And let's get turned the right direction here. There we go, closing at 6 meters a second. And we also had, I didn't even get a chance to look at it, but we also had an issue with, apparently people on Manticore have missed out on their habitability time. I thought I had an alarm for that. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I misread it. But we need to... They've turned into tourists. I don't know what the issue is. But anyway, let's aim the camera here for a second. Set this as target. And then where's my ship? Aim camera here. Control from here. All right. Let's get oriented properly. I love watching the reaction control jets. They've got a nice aesthetic now. Alright, I think we're going to be okay with all these solar panels. Okay. Whew. Docking successful. What's going on with our Kerbals? Staffel and Joffrey, their habitability has expired. Well, that means they have to go home. Can we not do anything about that? Let's level up crew. Do we have... No, habitat is on. No, habitat is on. I must have just misread it. I don't know. Maybe the presence of the other ship messed it up? It seemed like the presence of the other ship in the vicinity somehow caused a problem. I'm not really sure how that happened, but thankfully we automate our spacecraft for just such an occasion. Okay. We have to do some science transfer. So Staffel and Joffrey are going on strike, so let's put them into the lander. And then Bill, I don't think you can go on EVA. Let's transfer you to a part that can go on EVA. Like this one. All right, Bill is going to come grab the science. All right. Take data. And he's going to bring it into the laboratory. And we're going to research it here as well. Let's review data. Can't do that one. Why can't I do any of these? Is it because there's no scientists? Or is it because they've already been? Well, let's start research. No scientists present. Okay, so we can't do that. And we can't use the... Well, no, we can use the scientists that we brought on the other craft. So, transfer Bob. Visit Bill. All right, now let's start research. Review data. There we go. Now we can do this. Data. 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 90. That'll still work. 36. That'll still work. 15, that'll still work. 24, that'll work. And then that's it. We can't do any more. All right, Bill. You need to get back in your spacecraft as well, because if your friends are done, then so are you. Meanwhile, okay, keep. Okay. Transfer crew Burful. Transfer into this lab. Got some extra research to do. And Valentina. Transfer into the cupola. Okay. Now Staffel is at 216 days. What on earth? Where's Joffrey? Crew rotations is supposed to be in 21 days, and that's when we're going to do it. Well, now everything's all different. I'm so confused. Well, let's see if that improves. Meanwhile, this space station looks fantastic. Okay, I've pondered it a bit, and instead of thinking about it too much, I'm going to make the executive decision that we are taking the original crew of the space station home as soon as may be, and then we will send up a replacement crew soon. So the crew that was out at Minmus is actually happy to stay out for another 304 days for some reason. So, with that in mind, we can actually... well, no, not 304, 216. Wait, but they only have 39 days of... I'm so confused. Okay, still. We're gonna send the original crew home. Staffel, Bill, and where's Joffrey? Joffrey, transfer crew. Get in your capsule. No. Joffrey. Transfer in here. Cool. Staffel, Bill, and Joffrey are now in the capsule. Joffrey's still on strike, but that's okay. Now, this thing has nothing but monopropellant in it and mulch. And we're just going to undock. Joffrey Kerman has returned to duty. I'm so confused how this mod works. Okay, now they're starving. They're happy to stay out for another 45 days, but we're going to bring them home early because of the confusion. Meanwhile, at Manticore Space Station, Bob, Burful, and Valentina have 79 days of food remaining. So that's helpful. Let's get rotated so that we have solar power. And Alt F5 and F5. And then let's try to return to the spaceport, shall we? Let's warp here and turn orbit retrograde. Bye, space station. We'll send up a replacement crew soon. Oh, I'm glad we didn't pass through it. That could have been bad. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Okay, ooh. I gotta remember to change our orbit on a prograde or retrograde direction, otherwise we just come back to where we were, and then we could... The danger is stopping time warp while inside the other craft. Alright, trajectories. Right, of course, there's no fuel. RCS. We're doing this on RCS. Now, trajectories isn't going to quite calculate our return correctly because it's calculating it for the craft that we have right now, and we're going to jettison the craft and descend as just a capsule. But that is okay. Okay, we'll call that good. Alright, RCS off. Decouple. Goodbye, spacecraft. Surface retrograde. And let's return home. Jeffrey got confused. But it's all part of learning how the USI life support habitation works. Because we don't want to end up with a situation like that when we're out at Duna, you know? And this is why I put probe cores on all of my spacecraft, so that if the crew become tourists, we can still fly the mission and get them home safely. And we get to watch a orbital return again. I think we're going to land in the highlands near the Space Center or something. As long as we don't land in the mountains, we're okay. Well, we're going to kind of land in the mountains. That's okay. The clouds are so close to the mountains up here. That's cool. Alright, I think we're alright. I think we're gonna land on a relatively flat area. It would be worse if we landed on a slope. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Okay. Well, we're in the Highlands. Well, Bill, or Joffrey, go on EVA, take a surface sample, and board. Alright, let's recover. Our first space station crew has returned, a little earlier than expected, but that is okay. Before we go, this is the Griffin Mark I spacecraft that brought the Kerbals to the Dryad transfer vehicle. And it is an autonomous vehicle, and now that the Minmus crew is back, we can actually rendezvous with Manticore and make sure that they have a way to come home should that become necessary. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this 800 times speed or 8 times speed fast forward thing. It makes the editing take a lot longer, and part of the point of the series is that I didn't want to heavily edit it, but I wanted to, record this rendezvous transfer situation, but there really wasn't anything to say about it, so this is the compromise that I made. But probably I'll just start cutting these out. I don't know. I'll decide. But here we are, flying in autonomously to our rendezvous, and past me is going to take back over as soon as the docking is about complete. All right. So, with a little bit of a close shave with these solar panels, we now have 382 days of supplies, and a year of habitability. How does this mod work? I'm confused. Just by adding those extra seats and by bringing more supplies, we have a massive boost to how long we can stay here. But of course, somebody needs to go back out to Minmus, so we're still going to send up the next crew as soon as possible. But we can basically ignore our alarms about Kerbals needing to come home from space stations. Until next time. Alright, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. I think it's going to end up being a long episode again. I don't mean to do that. It just it's hard to judge because I have to cut out a lot. And I don't know how much I've cut out versus how much I'm actually showing. But from Manticore and Dryad Stations, signing off. See you next time.